Hello everyone. So today we're going to look at some of the other characters in the show, what their backgrounds are and some personality traits that they have. We're also going to have a look at the antagonist in our story, what their background is, what their personality, strengths, weaknesses and motivations are. But first we're going to have a quick recap, sorry that was the chair, of our protagonist Lachlan McRae. So Lachlan is about 28 years old. He's a crofter and local bard in the village. He has lived in the same Highland village all of his life, tending to the croft that's been passed down through his family for generations. His days, they're mainly filled with farming. He's got a deep-rooted connection to the land and to the Gaelic traditions of the Highlands, particularly in music and storytelling, which he inherited from his grandparents. Now, I used one of those AI image generator thingies to get an idea of what the character would look like, and they are creepy. So I put in a brief description of what I had imagined in my head of Lachlan looking like, and the image that came out, it's not a million miles away from what I was imagining, but it puts a face to the name, and for now I'm probably going to stick to it because I'm quite a visual person and it's nice to actually have an image in my head of of what these characters look like. So this is the image that it came up with for Lachlan, and I'm going to use it in these videos now because all these different names, it's nice to have a face there rather than just a name. So that's we're going to have a look at Lachlan's strengths now, a quick little recap of those. So Lachlan, he's resilient. He's resourceful and he's deeply connected to the land and the community, and he's got an inherent sense of justice and is fiercely loyal. For his weaknesses, sometimes his passion can make him a bit impulsive. He can also be stubborn and he finds it hard to change his mind once he's decided on something. And finally, for his skills. So apart from his crofting abilities, he's got a gift for song and storytelling. He's also adept at reading the land and the weather. He can mediate conflicts, and he possesses a wealth of knowledge about ancient Gaelic rituals and natural remedies. So next we're going to have a look at our antagonist. So our antagonist is Laird Alastair MacTavish. So I imagine him as being between 35 and 45 years old. His main occupation is that he's a landowner and a landlord of vast Highland estates. He's got lots of land that he owns and leases out. He was born into privilege. So Laird MacTavish, he inherited large amounts of Highland land. He was educated in Edinburgh and has been influenced by the Enlightenment ideals, and he has a complex vision for the future. But he genuinely believes in modernising Scotland, and this causes him to fail to see the human cost that his decisions are having, because he's driven by economic interest and peer pressures, and he wants to become a significant force for change in Scotland and this modernisation, but that makes him a significant force behind the clearances and the Highland Clearances. So I got AI to generate an image of MacTavish as well. So again, it's not far off what my thoughts are. It's maybe generated him a bit younger than I thought he would be, but for now it will do. We'll use this image just so that we can put a face to the name. I'm probably going to get all of these images redone once we go further into the character development, but for now I'm happy with what we've got. It's always nice to put a face to the name. So let's have a look at MacTavish's strengths and weaknesses and motivations now. So for his strengths, he's very intelligent, he's decisive, and he's articulate. He can be charming when he wants to be, especially when he's mingling with the high society. But he has his weaknesses. So he's disconnected from the common people. He doesn't really visit the Highlands. He has other people that manage it for him. He just does what he does in Edinburgh, probably. So he's disconnected from the common people, which occasionally causes him to be quite arrogant. And he has a blind spot for the emotional and cultural importance of the land. He just sees it as, it's making me money. And then finally we have MacTavish's motivations. So he genuinely believes in modernising Scotland, and he sees himself as a progressive figure. So what he's doing is good. That's what he believes. And at the same time, he's being heavily influenced by the potential profits of sheep farming and other ventures. So he wants to leave a legacy for his family and his heirs. And to do that, he wants wealth. Wealth is what's going to drive his family forward and keep his name going for generations to come. And to achieve all this, he needs to clear the land of the traditional inhabitants. So that's our antagonist. He's the embodiment of all of these ideals that are going on at the time. So let's have a look at some of the other characters now. So I haven't got any images for these yet. It's just Lachlan and MacTavish that I've put into this AI image generator. The rest, we'll get images for them later once we've developed their characters a bit further. So our first other character is Eilidh MacDonald. She is Lachlan's love interest. She's a spirited young woman who's got a gift for herbal medicine. She's independent, she's wise beyond her years, and she's deeply compassionate. Next up, we've got Morag Fraser. So she is Lachlan's older sister. She's a nurturing figure, she's protective of her family, and she is also steeped in the traditional Highland practices that she's had passed down to her from her grandparents as well. She's sort of the mother figure of the community. Next up we have Seoras Campbell. So this is Lachlan's childhood friend and chief confidant. He's loyal, he's humorous, a bit of a prankster. He's potentially could he lightens tense situations with his wit, but he can also be formidable, and he's a good ally to have at serious times. Then we have Padraig Douglas. So he is a rival crofter, but he's also potentially an ally for Lachlan. He's initially skeptical of Lachlan's leadership and methods. He's outspoken and he's assertive, but he is a very skilled warrior and tactician, so he shouldn't be overlooked. And then finally we have Catriona Stewart. She is a wealthy lowlander who is visiting the Highlands. She's curious, she's well educated, and she's seeking adventure. So she brings a different perspective to the village, and this will often clash with the traditional views. So those are all the characters I have so far, and that's our protagonist and antagonist. We've got both of those now. Probably, potentially, they might change later on, but for now we're starting to get some backstory done, which is going to make it a lot easier to develop the plot. Next time we're going to start thinking about the problems that Lachlan is going to be facing and what his reactions are going to be, and then we're going to think about how to overcome these. So we'll start looking at that hero's journey in more detail and begin to think about where things are going to be plotted on that hero's journey. So until next time, have a good one, and I will see you later. Bye.